Luxury vehicles. If you're interested in one, you're probably looking for good materials, quality, a nice fit and finish, the latest tech, and sometimes even performance. SUVs. If you're looking at one of those, you're probably in the need for functionality, practicality, comfort, and let's be real, space. And this is a Mercedes-Benz AMG GLC 43, and we're gonna see what this luxury compact SUV offers you on the inside with an interior review. Here is the key fob to the 2023 Mercedes-Benz AMG GLC 43. It only has 3 buttons, but it does have AMG branding on the front and the back. Now, this 5-seater luxury compact SUV has keyless entry on all 4 doors, which is nice. You can lock by pressing the door handle or unlock by putting your hand in, touch sensitive. It's a great convenience feature. Now, opening up the front doors, we'll check out the door panel. And up top, you get some nice soft materials with red stitching, but at the bottom, it's a little bit harder. Now, the door bins have a nice size. They can't really support this 17-ounce bottle of water because it kind of flops around, but there's some decent space in the door bin. And moving up, you have an aluminum door handle with your seat controls and your memory seat settings up top as well. Now, speaking of seats, these seats look great and they're comfortable. I'm 6'4", I have plenty of headroom and leg room when I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and you even get AMG branding and some red stitching, and ours even has a red seat belt. Now, moving down to the bottom, you can see this is where the lumbar controls are located, and even down here we get an aluminum brake and gas pedal, but no aluminum dead pedal. But we do get AMG branded carpets and AMG sill plates. Now let's hop in, start it up, take a look at the inside. To start it, press the button right here, and that wakes up a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with 416 horsepower and 379 pound-feet of torque. Let's take a look at the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster and turn down the music. And this is customizable from the steering wheel. You can select whatever screen you want, and it has some pretty quirky screens, but I'm gonna just leave it on classic. And you can control what information is displayed in the middle via the steering wheel as well. And speaking of steering wheel, it does look a little bit cluttered and it can be overwhelming, but it's easy to operate. On this side, this is where you operate the digital gauge cluster, the infotainment screen, your volume controls, call controls, and your favorites and voice recognition button. Over here is your adaptive cruise control. But down at the bottom, this is where all the fun happens. This is on the left side where you control individual options like your active exhaust, your adaptive suspension, and your traction control. And on the right side, this is where you operate your drive modes. And you can see it changes up on the infotainment screen and lets you know what settings you're gonna be in. And also on the steering wheel, you have your paddle shifters, which operates the 9-speed automatic transmission. So if you want to select your own gears, the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters will do that. And the steering wheel, it looks good. It has a flat bottom. You get some AMG branding, and it also feels good as well. Now moving over to the passenger side, you can see they get memory seat settings as well, along with their seat controls on the door, and it's pretty much identical to the driver's door panel. Now moving over, we get a nice wood treatment on the dash, and up top we get soft materials with some more red stitching. Open up the glove compartment and you'll find there's a decent amount of room in there. And moving to the center stack, we get our air conditioning vents up top, our automatic engine start stop button right here, which is great if that's not your thing, and our 11.9-inch infotainment touchscreen. Now, at first, this can be a bit much for people who aren't tech savvy, so that voice assistant can come in handy. But once you get used to it, it's snappy, it's easy to operate, but everything is in this screen, from your radio controls to your HVAC controls to your safety, everything. Let's check out the cameras on here, which are actually accessible either if you put it in reverse or this button right here. And you can see there's plenty of views. This is the around view camera. I wish they would have color matched our AMG GLC 43 to match this, but it's okay because the camera is nice and clear, gives you a nice wide view. But the front facing camera is a cool feature, but I wish it extended down and gave you a wider view. But it does the job. It's nice and clear, and you can see a lot of what's around you for those really tight parking spots. Now, going back to the home menu, like I said, your HVAC controls are embedded in this menu, so you operate it right here. And you also have a climate control button for your temperature sync, your heated steering wheel, and some other functions up top. And down here you'll find some customizable buttons for your drive modes, and this button has a bunch of random functions like car wash mode, tow away alarms, snow chains. So yeah, and we have a volume slider, which, you know what, let me know down in the comment section how you feel about a slider opposed to a knob. Does it make a difference? Is it a deal breaker? Let me know. But moving to the center, you see piano black just bathed right here. This is going to be very much prone to fingerprints, scratches, smudges, you name it, it's going to get it. But open it up, there's a USB-C port and a wireless charging pad right in there. And you also get some decent storage for your cups. You have a deployable cup holder right here, and it can go back. And the other one is just a cup with this little support bracket. And this is where you would put your key fob if the GLC doesn't recognize where it's at, deep down in your pocket. Now, moving to the center compartment, has a good amount of space in there, but it's not the biggest. We do get 2 USB-C ports, which is really nice. Now, moving up top, you know, in an SUV, I love a sunglasses compartment, but this doesn't have one. Instead, you get a little slider for your sunroof shade. Notice how I said shade, because it doesn't keep all of the sunlight out, but it does extend really far back, especially for your rear seat passengers. And if you're wondering if this sunroof can open up, it can. You just swipe it again and it does open up, but the only bummer is it will open up about halfway. So if you need half amount of sunlight from your sunroof, or if you just want to blow out the exposure on your camera, you can do that. But we're going to close it up, and right here you'll see your light controls up top and SOS if you need it. Now, this concludes the front section of the AMG GLC 43. We're gonna move to the back. Opening up the rear doors, I wish they opened up a little bit wider just in case you're putting in some child seats, but you can check out the door panels with the soft materials up top. The actual cushioning for the armrest is a bit stiffer than up front, but you do get the red stitching up top and some decent storage and plasticky bits down at the bottom. Now, looking at the seats, I'm 6'4", I'm pretty tall, above average in height. I don't really fit behind my ideal seating position because my knees dig into the back of the seat, but if I'm seated behind an average adult, or maybe if you're smaller than I am, seated behind a tall driver, then you will fit just fine. There's a good amount of headroom, and you gotta keep in mind, for middle seat occupants, there's this hump in the middle of the floor, so your space in the middle seat will be a little bit compromised. But the seats still look good. They don't offer as much support as the front seats, but you do get some red stitching, and ours has the red seat belts as well. So that's kind of cool. And you can see down below, you have your anchor points for your child seats. And in the center, you have a nice soft armrest. And if you press this part in once, you have some place to put your phone, a little slot. You press it in halfway, boom, there are your cup holders. Now moving to the back of the center stack, you can see air control vents, a little storage, and that's it. There are no USB ports around here, and that's kind of a bummer because, I mean, after all, it's an SUV. If you're gonna pack it out, you would at least want your rear seat occupants to have something to charge up with. So that's the rear quarters. Moving on to the cargo area, you can access that by pressing the button right below the Mercedes-Benz TriStar logo, or you can use your key fob. Now behind here, there's 59.3 cubic feet of space. You also get a cargo shade right here, just in case you wanna hide your eggs or milk from the sun. And you also get a net right here for holding smaller items. And if you need more space, there's some underfloor storage right here. And you also have a basket as well. So that's pretty nice. But the best feature about back here are the switches that lower the rear seats. Press this and the rear seats can lower, but the best part is after you press it, the front seat scoots forward so the rear seat won't crash into the back of it, which is great. And you can see, after all, this is an SUV and there's plenty of usable space back here. And you also have your traditional close button and a close and lock combo button, which is great. Now, if you're looking to grab a 2024 Mercedes-Benz AMG GLC 43, it's gonna start at around $66,000. But it does come with standard all-wheel drive, and it gets 26 miles per gallon in combined driving. And if you want one spec like ours with the 21-inch wheels, the metallic red paint job, and the surround view system as a few features just to mention, that's gonna be $70,875. But the good thing is you can go on kbb.com and get a fair purchase price on this or any other luxury SUV or sedan. So that's it for our interior review with this one. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.